What's going on, LEGO Maniacs? It's Ty, the LEGO guy here, and welcome to another episode of To Invest or Not to Invest. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 25 LEGO sets to invest in from the year 2022. This is spanning multiple different themes. We're going to be taking a look at sets from Speed Champions, Star Wars, architecture, BrickHeadz, LEGO ideas. There's honestly a little bit of everything in this episode. This is going to help out the investor in which set he should maybe pull the trigger on and which ones he should maybe steer clear from, as well as the collector, because the last thing we want to happen is a set that we really wanted, it ends up retiring on us, and now it's worth an arm and a leg. And I just wanted to quickly mention that this is not professional investing advice. Invest at your own risk. But anyways, this one should get interesting, but enough talk. Let's get right into it. And to kick us off, we'll start with number 25, which is Boba Fett's Throne Room. That's set 75326. It retails for $99.99 USD. Some may feel that this set may not do too well on the aftermarket once it does retire, but bear in mind all of the Jabba's palaces, because that's what this basically is, have appreciated very well after they do retire. So because of that reason, I feel that this should come in at number 25. I couldn't justify putting it any higher on the list, but it's definitely a set with it being, Jabba's palace, along with it having a number of really good looking minifigures. I think that this is a safe investment choice. At number 24, we've gone with the I Am Groot. That's set 76217. This one retails for $54.99. Love these smaller scale UCS style sets like the Baby Yoda or Grogu, along with the Yoda, and now I Am Groot. I know they're a completely different theme, but still, same concept. I feel that this is going to do well on the aftermarket. And I mean, as a collector myself, this just looks awesome. That's why it's found its way on at number 24. At number 23, we've gone with the Republic Fighter Tank. That's set 75342, and it retails for $39.99. You may say that this is an awful looking model. You don't like it. Personally, I think it's decent. It's probably one of the very first one that came out in 2008. It's definitely a better looking model than this one. But this is still passable, it does an adequate job, and bear in mind any of the previous Republic fighter tanks have appreciated a ton on the aftermarket. Not only that, this has the best selection of minifigures included in a Republic fighter tank. You get 3 clones along with a very cool looking Mace Windu. He even has arm printing, and just for those reasons alone, I feel that this is going to do well in the aftermarket. The other thing that's nice about it too is it's not too big, so you don't have to worry about storing it. It's not like those large scale UCS sets. At number 22, we've gone with another Star Wars set, being the Dark Trooper Attack. That's set 75324. It retails for $34.99, and this is purely on this list just because of those Dark Troopers. At one time, the minifigure, the Dark Trooper, was only included in a large Moff Gideon's starship. That's all it was ever included in, and he was going for 50 USD, if not more. Because of that reason, I feel that this set's going to do very well in the aftermarket. It includes 3 of them, and if this is the only other set to ever include them, that's just going to help its value a lot more. Again, this set's quite small, easy to store. I wanted to put this higher on the list, but I'm kind of tempering expectations, but I have a very good feeling about this model. At number 21, we've gone with the Hulkbuster. That's set 76210, and this one retails for $549.99. So it's definitely not cheap. It is a UCS style set though, and large scale Marvel sets generally do pretty well on the aftermarket. It's just huge though. You're gonna have to find a spot to store this. I have a couple of the UCS Millennium Falcons lying around. Not that this set's as big as that, but it takes up a lot of space. So just keep that in mind that you're gonna have to deal with that. Space is definitely an issue with a model like this, but once it does retire, I think it will do quite well. At number 20, we've gone with the 76215 Black Panther Bust. This model retails for $349.99. So again, not cheap. Very similar to the last one. Large scale Marvel sets generally do well on the aftermarket. You're just gonna have to find a place to store it. At number 19, we've gone with the 40547 Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader BrickHeadz. This retails for $19.99 USD, and it's a big exaggeration from the last 2 models we took a look at. This is much, much cheaper, much easier to kind of store, and surprisingly, BrickHeadz do quite well on the aftermarket. And I mean, what's more popular than Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader as far as characters from Star Wars, right? So because of that reason, or those two reasons, this falls in at number 19. At number 18, we've gone with the 40549 Stranger Things Demogorgon and 11 Brickheads. This model retails for $19.99 USD as well. And much the same as the previous model we took a look at, I feel that this is going to do very well. A few Stranger Things sets that we have had have appreciated a ton in the aftermarket. This is also a Brickheads. I feel it's a very safe, cheap choice. At number 17, we've gone with the 31132 Viking Ship and Midgard Serpent. This retails for $119.99. And I would have put this higher just because Vikings is very popular. And if you look at the last Vikings theme we got back in the mid-2000s, those sets have all appreciated a ton. This isn't quite as good. It is a creator set. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, it's not a material mast. It's made out of plastic, whereas the previous one, it was material. Small knock, but it's just, you know, just little things. I still, however, feel that this is going to do well. Vikings is very popular. And the last Vikings theme that we ever got, or the only Vikings theme we ever got, those sets have all appreciated a ton in the aftermarket, like I just mentioned. So because of those reasons, I feel that this will do well, just maybe not quite as well as the sets from the original Vikings theme. At number 16, we've gone with the 75336 Inquisitor Transport Scythe. Great looking Star Wars ship. The minifigures are also awesome. The last time that we got the Grand Inquisitor, he was going for crazy money on the aftermarket. This is the only other set to include him, and it's been literally years since the first Grand Inquisitor. So just with the minifigures, along with the ship itself, it being a very good looking ship, and it being Star Wars, I feel that this will do well. I would have put this higher on the list. It is one of my favorite sets that's ever been made out of the Star Wars theme. However, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the TV show, has got a fair amount of hate, and that's one of the things that I'm kind of just noting when putting this set on the list. But regardless, I don't think it's enough to make this ship not do well on the aftermarket. I just would kind of keep it in mind. But as far as the ship, the minifigures, they're both awesome, 10 out of 10s. And because of those reasons, I feel that this falls in very strongly and deserves to be on this list. At number 15, we've gone with the Justifier. That's set 75323. It retails for $169.99. And I get it's sort of obscure, like it is an obscure Lego Star Wars set, but large ships that Lego's made, like the Ghost, the Malevolence, more kind of obscure, they're from TV shows, those have done really, really well in the aftermarket, and I feel that this is gonna be the same. Maybe it's not gonna do quite as well as those two, but if it even does half as good as those two, you're gonna be, you know, laughing, right? So because of that reason, I feel it comes in at number 15. It's a cool looking ship, and there's gonna be a lot of Lego collectors that'll want this just to kind of fulfill their collection in years to come. At number 14, we've gone with the 75320 Snowtrooper Battle Pack. We're not gonna talk about this all too much. This one retails for $19.99. If you know Star Wars, you'll know that the battle packs generally do really, really well in the aftermarket. They're cheap, they're small, and collectors will buy multiples of them because they wanna build their armies like myself. So because of those reasons, it comes in at number 14. At number 13, we've gone with the 42143 Technic Ferrari. This model retails for $449.99. I'm not a big Technic guy, but I will say that these models look quite good, and they also do quite well in the aftermarket once they do retire. It is expensive, it is big, but if you're willing to find some space for it and hold on to it for maybe, you know, 3, 4, 5 years, I think that this is definitely gonna appreciate. At number 12, we've gone with the 10302 Optimus Prime. This retails for $179.99. And for those that love Transformers, I think that this is the perfect mix. It's a Lego Transformer, it also transforms. And if you guys know anything about Transformers, like the collectibles, they do appreciate a lot. I think that this is gonna be the same. Yes, it is Lego, but I mean, they're both collectibles, right? And Lego is a collectible. So yeah, I think that this is gonna do well on the aftermarket. I almost wanna put it up higher just because I know Transformers can go for quite a bit of money, but yeah, this comes in at number 12, and it's not all too big. It's not quite the size as a UCS set, which is gonna definitely help you out with space as far as storing this. At number 11, we've gone with the Jurassic Park 76956 T-Rex Breakout. This model retails for $99.99, and it is by far one of my favorite sets of 2022. This is one of my favorite scenes from any of the Jurassic Park movies, and I just think they did an excellent job. I've wanted them to make this for literally years, so I was stoked when they finally did. The large-scale Jurassic Park sets that more cater towards adults tend to do quite well in the aftermarket, and that's what this is. Great looking diorama. I recently did just light it up, so I really like this model as a collector and as an investor. At number 10, we've gone with the 75337 ATTE. This retails for $139.99. If you're new to LEGO Star Wars, the ATTE generally does very, very well in the aftermarket. They've made 3 of them in the past as far as the classic looking ATTE, and they've all done very well in the aftermarket. This also has great minifigures. In fact, if this stays to being the only set that includes the Phase 2 Cody, I could see him appreciating a ton, much like the Cloud City Boba Fett that came, you know, the one from the original Cloud City. Even if they do include him in other sets though, I still think that this is going to do well. The ATTE is very popular, and this has, again, a great selection of minifigures. For those reasons, this comes in at number 10. At number 9, this is a little bit different. We're going to go with an entire theme being the Speed Champions line, but the 2 sets in particular I think that are going to do excellent on the aftermarket is the 76911 007 Aston Martin, as well as the 76912 Fast and Furious model. Both of these retail for $19.99 USD, and if you're new to LEGO investing, Speed Champion sets are excellent. They tend to appreciate a lot once they do retire, and they're cheap. I mean, 20 bucks, and store this very easily. But again, I think any of the 2022 Speed Champion sets would be safe choices. This line is one of the best lines to invest in within LEGO investing. At number 8, we've gone with the Back to the Future Time Machine. That's set 10300, and it retails for $199.99. Back to the Future is very popular, and this is probably a collectible they won't make again in the near future. The only thing that worries me is we don't have a lot of history with Back to the Future LEGO sets, but still, this is kind of like a UCS style set, which means Ultimate Collector Series. And again, I don't think it's going to be made anytime soon, or remade, I should say. Because of those reasons, I think that this comes in at number 8. At number 7, we've gone with the Harry Potter 76405 Hogwarts Express Collector's Edition. This model retails for $499.99. So it's not small and it's not cheap, but large scale Harry Potter sets generally do very well in the aftermarket since they're catered towards adult collectors really. And because of those reasons, this is going to do well. You're just going to have to find, again, you know, somewhere to store it. It's definitely not a small set. At number 6, we've gone with the Architecture Singapore. That's model 21057, and it retails for $59.99. Architecture sets, just like Speed Champion sets, they do extremely well once they do retire, and I feel that this is going to be the same as any of the previous architecture sets. I did do a video on, you know, are they worth investing in? And I was very surprised to find out how much these models do appreciate on the aftermarket. And now we've come to number 5, which may be my favorite architecture set ever made. It's the Great Pyramid of Giza. That's set 21058. It retails for $129.99, and I just absolutely love the look of this thing. You can also take off the top of it and make it look like the pyramid's under construction, or you can put it back on and make it look like a finished product. You also have the Nile River running along it. It's just, it has everything you'd want as a LEGO enthusiast, as a history type guy, which, you know, I'm a little bit of a history buff. Overall, really, really like this one, and I think it's gonna do extremely well in the aftermarket once it does retire. At number 4, we're going with the Sanctum Sanctorium. That's model 76218. It retails for $249.99. And like we said before, Marvel sets, the large scale ones that are catered towards adults, they tend to do very well in the aftermarket. And it's also a modular, which we're gonna get into a little bit more in number 3. And at number 3, we've gone with the Boutique Hotel. This is taken from the modular theme. That's set 10297. Again, if you're new to LEGO investing, modulars do extremely well in the aftermarket. They're a little bit big. They're not quite as big as, say, the UCS Falcon or AT-AT or something like that, but they're definitely not small. However, they do really, really well in the aftermarket. I know this from personal experience. I've sold a number of modular sets like the diner and whatnot, and yeah, I sold 2 of them and it ended up paying for my personal copy. So yeah, and that was only 3 months after it had retired. Not saying this is going to do as well as that, because that's kind of crazy, but again, I love the modular line, and a lot of Lego collectors feel the same way. Because of those reasons, yeah, I think that this is an excellent choice. It is a little bit expensive. It's not the smallest set, but this is definitely one of the best lines to invest in. At number 2, we've gone with the 75331 UCS Razor Crest. This model retails for $599.99. Definitely not cheap, but if you know Star Wars at all, you'll know that the Mandalorian is extremely popular, and the Razor Crest is the most popular ship from that series. So because of those 2 reasons, I think that this is gonna do extremely well in the aftermarket. Again, it is expensive, but this is gonna be one of those models that a lot of collectors are gonna want. Very unlikely to probably ever be remade, at least within the next 10 years, I'd say. Especially once the TV show is no longer aired, right? I'm not sure how many seasons they plan on making, but overall, great choice. It's just, again, it's expensive, it's big, but this is one of my favorite sets that they've ever made as far as Lego is concerned. Very detailed, good looking model. And it's also extremely popular, which makes me believe that this is going to do very well on the aftermarket. And at number 1, we've gone with the Lion Knights Castle. That's model 10305. It retails for $399.99. And this is just everything a Lego castle collector would want. In case you're wondering, castle sets do extremely well on the aftermarket, and this is by far the largest castle Lego's ever produced. I don't know if they're ever gonna make a castle that's larger than this one. It is big, it is expensive, but like we've been saying, it's just castles just so popular, and this is gonna be one of those prized jewel sets out of any Lego collector's collection if he really likes castle. Because of those reasons, it comes in at number 1. Really like this one, and that's why it's made its way on the top of the list. But before we close out this video, I have 3 bonus choices. The first being the 10497 Galaxy Explorer. At number 2, we have the Vespa, that's set 10298. And at number 3, we have the Office, that's set 21336. All these I could be very wrong about. Maybe they should have made the list. The Galaxy Explorer is a good looking ship. It's just the minifigures are very basic, but I still think it will do well in the aftermarket. The Vespa just didn't make the list. The 25 that are ahead of it, I just thought were better. And the Office set, this one tears me because I'm a big Office fan. However, we don't have a lot of history with Lego sets that are based off of sitcoms and how they've done on the aftermarket. There's a lot of them that have come out in the last couple years, but again, we just don't have a lot of experience with how well they do on the aftermarket, so it just kept me from sticking on the list, but still, I think it's gonna do quite well. But that pretty well does this episode of To Invest or Not to Invest. As always, let me know what your personal thoughts are on this list, if you change it in any way. If you have any questions about any sets that are not on the list, just put them in the comments and I'll try and get to them. But that pretty well does the video, but if you liked it, leave it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing and click that bell so you're notified for any future To Invest or Not to Invest episodes. We do one of them once a month, or at the latest once every 2 months, and they're a lot of fun. I enjoy doing all this research, and hopefully it's helping you guys out. But that's all I got for you again. But thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.